Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing my makeup inventory with you. So I'm basically going to go through my makeup stash and count how many things I have in each category and share them with you guys. I did this video about this time last year at the very beginning of the year, so I will leave that linked here if you guys want to check out what my inventory looked like last year. I feel like a lot of my categories have made good progress because I've swapped products in, so maybe I have a lot more products this year in those categories, but I did trade a lot of things out and use up a lot of stuff or declutter a lot of stuff last year. Although a lot of my numbers are still higher than I would like, I thought I got a lot lower in some of them and I clearly didn't. A few of my categories I forgot a few things, so I forgot that I had some stuff in random drawers and stuff. Last year I was a lot more organized and having all of my stuff together in one area, and this year it's kind of more spread out because I have different vanity boxes. So a few of the things I forgot an item, or I had an item in like a Birchbox or something like that. So I will add those numbers into the little running total at the bottom. I'll have kind of a little running total right here to make it easier. So in case I forgot anything, I will leave those here. And I'm going to go ahead and get started showing you guys kind of what my collection slash inventory is right now. So this first category that I have is foundation samples, and this one has kind of exploded. This one's a lot bigger than mine was last year, but on the bright side, all of my foundations except for one that I had last year have changed. So all of these are newer ones. It's not like I just had all of those old ones still sitting around. I either used those up or got rid of them and decluttered them. So I have 6 full-size foundations. 5 of those are foundations and one of them is a tinted moisturizer essentially. And then I have 5 foundation samples. So the foundation samples I want to try to use up this year. I'm trying to use up the CoverGirl one for sure. I'm sure I will use the L'Oreal Infallible one because that's my favorite. So these are definitely ones that I need to work through because that's way too many. Next up I have primers. So right now I have 5 full-size primers and 5 samples. One of the primers was one I got from Influenster, and then the Cover FX one and the Makeup Forever one are half-size ones. They're not like the full-size ones. But at this time last year I had 4 mini primers and 3 full-size. None of these primers are the same, so I worked through all of those primers that I had in my last year's inventory and got new ones. And one of these is almost gone. The NYX Angel Veil one is almost gone. I was kind of hoping that it would be done by the time I did my inventory, but since it's not, it's there. That'll be done soon, so I'll be down to 4 very quickly. But that is my current primer collection. Next up is concealer. So last year at this time I had 12 concealers. This year I have 10 full-size concealers. I have that one sample, and then I threw in this Dr. Chart BB Night cream thing. Technically that should have gone with my foundations, so technically add one to my foundations. I just thought I would throw it in here too. That I've never used. It's such a weird concept to me. It's like a weird thing that you're supposed to put on at night, but it's supposed to give you skincare benefits. I don't know. That one doesn't make sense to me, but I do have 10 full size, so I technically went down a couple that way. And a few of these will be done shortly. So the one in the corner is in my project pan. That'll be done shortly. The Benefit Fake Up one will probably be gone soon. And the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind one I'm going to work on using up in my finished 7 by spring. So a lot of them I'm working on. Some of them I can only use at certain times because they're too dark, but I feel like a lot of these will be gone. I just need to stop buying concealers because that's a problem I have. Next up I have face powders. Last year I had 11, and so at this point right now I had 7. 2 I worked through last year, and then I actually counted each of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders in this total last year, but I sold that palette recently, so I am down to 7, so that is significantly better. And then this Physicians Formula one right here, that one is almost gone, and then I'll work through my other ones. But yeah, I feel pretty good about that's significantly smaller. I haven't bought any face powders in a while, so that's pretty good. Next up is the bronzer category. Last year I had 5 powder bronzers and 1 cream bronzer, and I got rid of the cream bronzer. I worked through a couple of my bronzers and decluttered a couple, and actually Hoola bronzer over here in this palette I didn't count last year. I counted that as a separate category, and I just counted it as the palette, but I figured I'd count it this year because I'm working through that one. So this year I am down to 4. Hooray! Alright, so this is my blush collection, which I am ashamed to say got 5 bigger than last year. It is not any smaller. I have 29 powder blushes, and then I have 6 blushes that I'll count in kind of the cream gel whatever category, which includes the ColourPop one. So I definitely need to go through this and declutter this again because I haven't in a while. I definitely got rid of some products this year over decluttering. I have 4 less cream products than I did last year, and I'm working through those for sure. One of them is almost gone, so I'm working on that, but I should definitely declutter this category again because I still have way too many blushes and a lot of them are not getting used. Alright, so this is my highlighter collection. I have 7 powder highlighters and 7 cream highlighters, or creamier highlighters. 3 of those creamier highlighters are mini size, so all of these Becca ones right over here, all of those are either small size, they're mini sample size, or you know, things like that. Here are my single or duo eyeshadow eye product type things. I have 43 here, and actually you guys can see that there's like these down here. Those are choice samples. I'm not going to count those in just because they don't last all that long, and I'm just not going to count those. So I have 43. A few of these things realistically I should be decluttering because I don't use them very often. Clinique palette right here, that one I'm working on using up in my project pan. A few of these things I'm going to try to sell for decluttering. So like this cargo one down here I'm counting for now, and like this obsessive compulsive cosmetics one up there. I'm going to declutter those. I'm going to try to sell them, but if I can't sell them, I will see if somebody wants them. So yeah, that went bigger than my last year's number. Last year's number was 38, so I went up. So a few of those things I really should declutter though, because I'm not using them, or they're really, really old. So I will probably need to work on that, honestly. Here are my smaller eyeshadow palettes. So there are 14 here. I know that technically the two ColourPop ones in the top right corner aren't palettes, but they are ones that I kind of keep together as a set, so I'm going to count them as palette-y type forms. So there are 14 here. I had 10 last year, and then there's a few that I've decluttered, a few that I've acquired, a few of these I'm working on moving out this year. So we'll see how that goes. My collection is not getting smaller. As I'm looking at this, I thought I did so much better this year, but I didn't, which is kind of depressing. Alright, so this is my palette collection and Theo's butt. I feel like something is wrong here. I swear yesterday I counted, and I had like 24, but I'd forgotten 2 palettes, so I'm refilming. So I added in the other 2 palettes, and then I counted again. And somehow I still have 24, although the Tarte one in the top right corner technically is 3 little smaller palettes, but I'm going to just count it as one big palette. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm a little bit confused by that one. Maybe I forgot one. But as of right now, counting this, I have 24, and I'm going to go with that for now. Last year I had 23, I think, but I did sell 2 palettes. I got a handful of new palettes. My Loft Pro is going to be gone in the next month or so, I would say. And then I'm working on my Naked palette. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused by this one. But anyway, that's my palettes. I'm counting 24 as it is right now, and I've counted like 5 times. So we're going with 24. This one I'm really proud of. I had, I think, 4 primers last year and 4 samples of the Urban Decay ones. I actually just got some primers of the Urban Decay ones in my Ulta Beauty sample bag, but I'm actually going to put those in my giveaway because I don't like them that much. So I just have 3 mini primers. This is doable because all of these are smaller size, and I'm almost done with the Smashbox one, I think. It's not going to take me that much longer to use it up anyway. So this is actually a reasonable number, and then I'm only going to buy 1 primer at a time unless I get them as samples after this, I think. I gave away one in a swap earlier this year because I wasn't using it, and it was a big size. I was never going to get through it. I used up an e.l.f. one last year, so I feel good about this. I used up a lot of these last year, so that's a good thing. I've made some serious progress there, at least. My brow collection has ended up getting a little bit bigger this year. I think last year I just had 2 pencils and 1 gel and the 2 palettes. This year I had ordered a duo for the YBF automatic eyebrow pencils, and I actually ended up using my Loft Pro palette for a good chunk of the year, so I didn't end up using those very much. So I have 2 gels this year, 2 little brow powder palettes, and then 3 brow pencils. This year my numbers kind of flip-flop just a little bit. So I have 30 regular pencil eyeliners when last year I had 34, and actually one of those is almost gone, so almost 29. And then I have 2 gel eyeliners and then 2 kind of liquid pen eyeliners. So that's pretty much the same number. It's just flopped a little bit. I did get rid of several eyeliners this past year, and I plan to get through more this year, so we'll see how that goes. I'm definitely working on getting rid of some of the eyeliners that are going dry because I just threw out 2 after I was doing this because they had both kind of dried out. So these are cream eyeshadows or eyeshadow pencils. There are 10 of the pot cream eyeshadows, 9 eyeshadow pencils counting both sides, and then there's the Bare Minerals 5-in-1, whatever that is. That's technically a cream eyeshadow, but it's not really in either of those categories. And then I'm adding in this double-sided pencil. This is just like an inner corner highlight pencil. It doesn't technically go under the cream category, but I'm throwing it in here because I forgot to include it in my other category. So in total, I have 21 products in this particular category. My number for my cream pencils didn't really change all that much. I got rid of 1 for sure, but then another one came in from a Birchbox. So I want to work through several of these this year. I'm hoping to work through at least probably 2 or 3. If not more than that, and now maybe declutter some of the other ones because I have way too many of these. Alright, here are my mascaras. I have 5 full-size mascaras, 2 of which are still in their packaging, 3 of which are open right now, and then all the rest are minis that I got in random Birchboxes or gifts with samples or whatever. So I have 12 sample sizes there. So my mascara collection has definitely gotten a lot bigger. Last year I had 12 total with all of them. So I definitely need to work through some of these. I got a lot of just random mascara samples this year for whatever reason. So some of these I got in beauty boxes and things like that, and I just need to work through them. I have too many mascaras right now. Alright, my first lip category. This is one that exploded this year. I ended up getting a ton of new lip crayons and things like that instead of just doing lipsticks and that sort of thing. I realized that this is the format that I really like, so I got a ton of new ColourPop stuff. I got rid of one lip liner, so last year I had two. This year I only have one lip liner that's just by itself. I have some of the Lippy to Go sticks, but those are double-sided, so I'm going to count those in the lip pencil, whatever lippy stick category. So I have one liner, and then I have 22 of the lip crayons. So that one exploded a lot, but I did do a lot of decluttering of the other categories, so hopefully that should balance out just a little bit more. I have a lot of lip products, but I just did a massive declutter. I will link that video if you guys are interested in the little eye in the corner. So yeah, this one over doubled, but I feel like the other categories will hopefully kind of make up for that. Alright, so here is my lip gloss collection. So this year I have 18 if I count each of those pots separately. Last year I had 36, so I cut this number in half. I decluttered a bunch. I got rid of a bunch that were expired. I was just really realistic about my collection and what I was going to wear, so I got rid of a ton of stuff. So I feel good about this number because this is a more realistic amount that I can possibly use, and there was a ton of stuff that was old and it was time for it to go. Here are my lip stains, lip butters, liquid lipsticks, all of that category. So in total up here I have, at these front two rows, I have 24. Last year I had 27, so I only dropped down 3. But a fair amount of those are minis that I'm going to try to use up this year. And then down at the very bottom, these 3 are actually 3 lip glosses that I forgot. So add those 3 onto the previous total. I'll add that total onto the slide. So that's it for the lip products. So I at least decluttered some. I cut my lip glosses down quite a bit. I at least cut down a few in my lipsticks. I will continue to work through those, I guess. And that's that. I've been working my way pretty diligently through my chapsticks and things. I have not been getting any new ones really. I have 4 right here. I know I have at least 4 more sitting around in other random places, so I have at least 9, but I haven't really bought any new ones this year. I've just been working my way through the ones that I've got, or if I've gotten any in Birchboxes or things like that, I've been incorporating those and working on those. But I have not bought any new ones for myself at least, so down to 8. I think I had 9 last year, or at least 9. The last category that I had last year was lashes, so this year I have 4 pairs of eyelashes. Last year I had 5. I've worked through some and gotten rid of some that I never wear. Some of these are probably way too dramatic for me and I won't wear them very often, and I'll get rid of them fairly shortly after wearing them. And then this one in the middle right here, that one I got from Influenster just recently. I mentioned that in my Influencer unboxing. I'll share that in the eye as well, in case you guys are interested in checking that out. So yeah, down 1 pair of eyelashes at least. I'm going to add in 1 new category this year that I didn't have last year because I only had 1 going at this time. I have 3 setting sprays or primer sprays. So I have the Smashbox one, the Urban Decay one, and the new Maybelline Master Fix one. I'm going to work through these. I have discovered I like the sprayer on the Master Fix one, but I like the Urban Decay formula better. The primer water, I don't know that it actually does anything for me. I use it, but I'm not super impressed by it. So right now I actually have 3 instead of the 1 that I had last year. So that is it for my makeup inventory. I kind of wish I'd made more progress in some of my areas, but that kind of reminds me, I like doing this because it reminds me how much I need to keep working. I think I'm going to do this in the middle of the year this year as well, so I'm going to do it now. I'll do it in June or July sometime, and then I'll do it at the beginning of next year again. So I think that helps keep me a little bit more accountable and be more realistic about what I have, and also it reminds me I need to declutter. So after this video, I feel like I need to declutter my blushes a little bit more. I have a very large total, and that's not counting a few palettes that have blush in them. Like I have my Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette that has a blush in it that I didn't count, and a bronzer and a highlight. In my Tarte palettes that I counted as 1 palette, I have 1 blush in each of those as well. So I definitely have progress to be made. This helps remind me to declutter. I need to declutter my blushes a little bit more. I should really take another look at my palettes. I sold 2 eyeshadow palettes and an ambient lighting palette recently, but I might do another one. That one actually went pretty well. I have a few things that I still want to get rid of. I might do that on Instagram or something. Yeah, I definitely made progress, at least in some categories. I changed a lot of stuff out, but there's stuff that reminds me never to buy again, like cream highlighters. I don't need any of those anytime soon, and when I do, I will just have 1 at a time. I don't need as many as I have. If you have done inventories, I would love to see those linked in the comments below. I would love to check those out. I'm always interested in these, and then that always kind of helps me see what other people have and see kind of what's a realistic idea. I don't know. I just like seeing the collections and downsizing and what people have in comparison to others. I said this last year too, but just as a reminder, I'm not bragging. I don't mean to say, oh, look at all the stuff that I have. It just kind of reminds me how much stuff I accumulate because of the YouTube culture and how much people are constantly buying and how much, you know, there's like 8 billion drugstore hauls going on right now. And so that kind of reminds me, I don't need all of that stuff. I don't need another cream eyeshadow. I don't need more lipsticks. I don't need more lip products unless they're really different from what I have. So yeah, I have a full-time job. I've accumulated this stuff over a couple of years. I'm trying to get better at decluttering and getting rid of stuff, but I'm working on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.